Welcome back, my dear students. In the last class, we discussed about directing. What is directing? What are the characteristic features of directing? Why directing is important and why directing is considered as one of the important functions in management. Okay. So, as I said in the last class, the totality of all the forces, that is supervision, motivation, leadership and communication. The totality of all these four elements is considered as a directing. Therefore, there are four elements in directing. One is supervision, second one motivation, third one leadership and fourth one communication. Therefore, for the attainment of organizational objectives, application of all the four elements becomes very much necessary. Therefore, we will study all the four elements separately. First element is supervision. Supervision is a common word whatever you have heard. While you are when you are writing examination, then your class teacher or any other teacher supervises. That means he or she looks that the students are writing answers transparently and they do not copy. Okay. Same way in organization also, while working, the leader of the team, he observes continuously his subordinates whether they are following the right procedure, whether they are following the policies and plans of the organization or not. Okay. So, what is supervision? Supervision is the process of instructing, guiding, observing the subordinates at work to ensure that they are working as per plans and to help them in solving their work problems. Okay. Therefore, supervision is a process of instructing, guiding and observing the subordinates where to instruct in the workplace. Okay. In the workplace, the team leader, he instructs how to work, what to do and what not to do, right. Then he guides whenever the subordinate faces any problem while completing the work, then he guides how to solve the problem and observes, he observes what he is doing, right. Then observing whom? Observing the subordinates at work to ensure that they are working as per the plans and help them in solving their problems at the workplace. For example, consider one person has joined as a welder after completing his ITI. Theoretically, he has studied everything, how to weld, what are the safety precautions to be taken, but practically he do not have any knowledge. Therefore, he needs the help of an instructor, he needs the help of someone to guide him how to weld, right. Therefore, the leader, what he does, he shows how to weld, what are the safety precautions that should be taken while doing the work, right. Then the leader expects him to repeat the procedure in front of him, and while repeating the procedure, any mistakes if they are committed by the subordinate or the particular employee, the leader will instruct him, guide him how to work properly. That's what called as a supervision. So, supervision is required at every level, maybe at the top level or at the middle level or at the lower level, because organizational plans should be implemented at every stage. Therefore, supervision is required everywhere and every team leader or every manager should undertake supervision activity. Then why supervision is important? Supervision is important from the following points. One is it maintains direct contact. One manager is allotted with the team of workers. Continuously that team leader or the manager, he will contact with his subordinates or a team of employees. Continuously he will monitor, continuously he will observe, continuously he will guide. Therefore, their personal relationship exists between the team members as well as the manager of the team, and the team manager, he will act as a friend, philosopher as well as a guide. Okay. Therefore, personal contact is maintained. When personal contact is maintained, then it is possible to understand each other, right. So, understanding each other, just understanding the procedure is not important, just understanding the technology is not important. Much more important along with all these is understanding the mindset and mentality of the subordinates. Therefore, while supervising, as continuous contact is there between the team members and the manager, it will help for the smooth running of all the functions. Then acts as a link. So, supervisor, he acts as a link between management as well as workers. He is considered as one of the link between managers, top level officials as well as the workers. So, what the top level officials do, they communicate the plans, procedure, organizational vision, mission or objectives, and they will communicate what is expected by the employees. Same thing is communicated to the workers, and that communication work is done by the supervisor. Therefore, supervisor acts as a link between management as well as workers. So, if the workers have any problems, that problem will be communicated to the management. If the workers, they have any better solution to solve the problem, those suggestions will also be communicated to the management. Therefore, they act as a link. Then, it maintains unity. Supervision always maintains unity. We know that in a company we work in a group. In organization chapter, you have studied that the total job of the company, what is to be done, that will be divided into various departments, and each department is considered as one group. Production is one group, then human resource is one group, finance department is another group, marketing department is another group, right. So, having unity inside the workers who are working in a particular department or group is much more important, and that unity is maintained by supervision, right. So, we know that every mind is different, every human being is different, and they have different thoughts, they have different motives, they have different attitudes, they have different background, they have different personal objectives, right. So, all these differences to be considered as one group, and all those differences must be balanced together, and they must be converted into organizational objectives, right. Difference of opinion has to be eliminated and single opinion should be generated, and that work is done by supervision. Therefore, it is possible to maintain group unity. And another one, it ensures better performance. How better performance is possible? Here, always the organization expects the workers to be productive. What is productivity? Doing the work efficiently and effectively, utilizing all the resources effectively is considered as a productivity, right. So, to become productive, it is more essential to follow the rules and regulations, to follow the procedures, whatever said by the top officials becomes much more important. Therefore, supervision, it ensures a better performance. and then it influences workers. It influences workers positively. It influences to work hard. It influences to minimize the errors. It influences to utilize the available resources to the maximum extent possible. Okay. Then it analyzes and gives feedback. It is not important to work, but it is more important to give feedback, right? Whether the employee is doing the work in a right way, right? Whether he is committing any mistakes, whether he is following the plans and procedures exactly, that feedback has to be given, right? So, therefore, from this point of view, supervision is very much necessary, because it maintains a direct contact, and supervision or the supervisor, he acts as a link between the management as well as the workers. Then it ensures a better performance, it maintains unity in the group, then it influences the workers positively, and it analyzes the work and gives the feedback. That is regarding the first element, that is supervision. Now coming to the second one, motivation. Motivation, the foremost important aspect in everyone's life. Every action of a human being has some motive behind, right? One person gets up early in the morning, he goes for a walk, or he engages himself in meditation or yoga or any kind of exercise, right? What motivates him? So, the intention of being fit and healthy, it motivates the person to get up early and involve in yoga or any such kind of physical activities, right. So, why do we drink water? Why do we eat food? Because I am hungry, so I eat food, right. So, the feeling of hunger that motivates me to eat food, right. Therefore, every action of a human being has some motive behind it, right. So, now we are going to study some matters about motivation. So, what is motivation? Motivation is a process of stimulating and inspiring people, process of stimulating and inspiring people at work. Where to inspire? Inspiring people at work to contribute to the best of their capability, to contribute their best of their capability for achieving organizational objectives. Okay. Inspiration is given, they are stimulated. Why? For contributing maximum for the best of their capability. Every human being has their own capacities, their own limitations, right. So, whatever expectations, they should differ from person to person, because they differ in their talents and capabilities, right. Therefore, we have to motivate, we have to inspire by looking at the capabilities of the person. This is meaning of motivation. So many psychologists, they have given their own motivation. Here I am quoting only one definition, that is definition given by McFarland. What he says? He says that motivation refers to the way in which urges, drives, desires, aspirations, strivings or needs direct, control and explain the behavior of human beings. Okay. The motives, they take the different form. It may be in the form of urge, it may be drive, it may be desire, it may be aspiration, it may be striving, or it may be need. What it does, it directs and controls and explain the behavior of a human being, right. Say for example, one student every day gets up early in the morning, he or she solves the problem or reads well, prepares her own or his own notes, concentrates well whenever the teacher explains in the class, goes to the staff room to clarify the doubts and refers some other reading materials, right. what motivates him to do so? Because becoming number one or scoring highest marks or maximum marks or scoring out, it motivates, right. So, the urge or the desire to become top scorer, it motivates to do so, right. So, therefore, that motivation, that motive or that urge or that desire of becoming number one, it directs the behavior. Therefore, he gets up early in the morning, he prepares well for the class, he reads well for the examination, he clarifies all his doubts, and he scores always good marks even in a class test, right. Therefore, the behavior is directed by some need or urge, right. So, if I feel like purchasing a car, then not having a four-wheeler or desire to enjoy some luxury will motivate me to purchase a car, right. So, therefore, any decision or any behavior, it is directed by some of the urges, drives or desire. This motivation is complex process. We say that human resource is the most valuable, most important and the most complex resource of the organization. Okay. We give much more importance to motivation. Motivation is necessary not only for an employee in the organization, but also for a common human being. A child also needs motivation, a student needs motivation, a worker needs motivation, an artist needs motivation, right. Without motivation, we will not become active, we will not contribute and we will not unleash our potential, right. So, why human resource is considered as most valuable? Because human beings can make or they can break, right. Human beings have the capacity of making the organization or they can break the organization. We have examples, so many examples in front of us for making the organization. Take the example of Narayan Murthy and Sudha Murthy. With the help of three human resources and very few computers, they started IT business. Today, Infosys has become gained in the IT field, right. So, they made the company, human resource, they can make, they can break the company. You might have heard about Satyam Computers. One mistake done regarding window dressing of the balance sheet. Now, the company is no more, right. Human resource, it broke the company, right. And once the image is damaged, it is very difficult to rebuild, right. Therefore, human being, they can make or they can break the things, and human resource is very much complex. Why? What motivates me definitely will not motivate you, right. For example, one small child, it is reluctant to complete its homework, then what the mother or the teacher or the father says? I will give you one chocolate if you complete your homework, right. What motivates to complete the homework? For the child, homework is not important, it is not having any interest in doing all those work, but chocolate motivates, right. It differs from person to person. Same chocolate is given now. After 10 to 15 years, I will give you chocolate and you read well for the examination and you become number one. Does it motivate? Never, right. Parents generally, when their son attains the age of 18, then they will say, if you score good marks, then I will gift you one motorcycle, right. Motorcycle motivates, right. Therefore, motivation varies from person to person and time to time. What today motivates me will definitely not motivate tomorrow, right. And motivation it differs from person to person. I may be having much interest in good salary, but another person will be having interest in challenging opportunities in the workplace, right. So, therefore, motivation is one of the most complex to understand. So, motivation has certain procedure, how to motivate. That procedure, it has certain procedure. One is unsatisfied need. Motivation starts from a unsatisfied need. Motivation starts from a process of motivation. It starts from unsatisfied need. So, what motivates me? Anything lacking in me, it motivates. In the coming classes, we are going to study about motivational theories. Okay, there you will learn what motivates, when it motivates, and fulfilling need, whether it becomes motivation or not. Right? Already I have a house, so owning one more house will not motivate me. Right? Already I have a job, and one more job will not motivate me, but something else in the job. Right now my job is giving me good salary. Okay, I may be motivated towards challenging opportunities, or I may be motivated towards safety and security of the job, whatever. Right? So, there must be unsatisfied need, then only motivation starts, and that unsatisfied need, it should create tension. That unsatisfied need should create tension. Mr. A is a BCom graduate. Okay, he is not having job. Not having job is a unsatisfied need. Okay, that creates tension. I am already qualified, but I am not getting any job. So, therefore, not having a job has created tension, and the next activity is drive. So, the candidate, he will search for a job, he will apply, he will attend interviews, right. It will motivate him, or it will direct him to do every activity so that he gets a particular job. Then search behavior. What he does to fulfill his need? He will register himself in employment exchange, right, and he will register himself in job websites, right. He will attend the interview, he will apply, and he will write examination. So, search behavior, and the result, he gets the job, and satisfaction. Okay. Once he gets the job, then unsatisfied need will be converted into satisfied need, and then reduction of tension. Okay. The tension of not having job is reduced the moment when he gets a job. So, reduction of tension. This is the process of motivation. There must be unsatisfied need, and that unsatisfied need should create the tension, and he should show such behavior so that his need is satisfied. Then he searches for every possibility so that he can satisfy his need, then satisfaction, and later reduction of tension. Okay. Therefore, there are three elements in motivation. One is motive, elements of motivation, elements of motivation. One is motive, second one is motivation, and the third one is motivator. Okay. Motive, motivation, and motivator. Motivator. These are the three elements involved in motive. So, what is motive? Motive refers to inner state or desire, the urge, the striving, the need, whatever inside me, that is motive. Okay. What I am expecting, what is my need, what is my want, that is considered as a motive. Okay. Every person has motive. An employee is having motive either of getting good salary or working in a prestigious company or having a job which provides safety and security, or a job which gives him prestige, which gives him respect, and many more, right. So, whatever the need, whatever the desire, and that desire is considered as a motive. Okay. The second one is motivation. Motivation is a process of stimulating the people to action. The process of stimulating the people to action is called as a motivation. Okay. You travel for a distant place, okay. You have not carried any food with you. Okay. After traveling for so many hours, you feel hungry. Okay. That hungry, okay, expecting food is a motive. Okay. What you do? You fulfill your hunger. What you do? You search for restaurant, you search for hotel, or you try to order online. Okay. That behavior, that process of fulfilling your motive, that is called motivation. And the motivator. So, motivator is nothing but a technique used to motivate. The technique used to motivate is called as a motivator. Okay. Generally in organizations, the manager or the leader, they use different techniques, either financial technique or non-financial technique. We know what is financial technique, maybe giving promotions or increments or higher salary or bonus or extra commission or giving shares to the workers or profit sharing or whatever. Everything is considered as a financial ways of motivating, and non-financial motivating. That means praising or recognition or providing a good organizational climate or giving good status, whatever, they are considered as a non-financial techniques. So, whatever technique we use to motivate the employees is considered as a motivator. So, there are three elements in motivation. One is motive, the need, the urge, the desire, the striving, whatever ignited inside the human being is called motive. And motivation, the every effort of the person to fulfill his motive is considered as a motivation and the motivator. The techniques used to motivate the people in the company is called motivator. Okay. So, after looking at all the meaning and definition, let us draw some of the characteristic features of motivation. What are the features of motivation? What is motivation exactly? Okay. The first feature of motivation is an internal feeling. It is an internal feeling. This drive or urge or desire is totally psychological in nature. I should feel, somebody else cannot force me, right? I should start reading on my own. I should have a goal that I should score distinction or rank, or I should become number one, whatever. Somebody else cannot force. Even though they force, that motive, it will not be long lasting at it, and it will not be effective, right. So, I should feel that I should own a house. If somebody says that still you are living in a rented house, so better you shift it to your own house. Somebody else if they say, then I may not feel that motivates me, right. So, I should feel that I should own a house, then only I will do some activity, either purchasing a house or constructing a house, whatever, I start doing it, right. So, therefore, motivation, it has to be created inside the human being. It is totally psychological fact, and somebody else cannot force or cannot impose the urge or the desire. If I feel thirsty, then only I will drink water, otherwise I will not eat, right? If I feel hungry, then only I will eat food. If my stomach is full, then definitely I will not feel like eating any food, right? So therefore, motivation is an internal feeling and it produces goal directed behavior. It produces goal directed behavior. Then what is the goal? Fulfilling the desire is a goal, okay. That goal directed behavior is created by motivation, right. So therefore, if I feel that I should have a job, then only I start searching for a job. I start applying, I start reading, or I start preparing for examination, right. Some students, they have the dream of becoming IAS officers, right. If you simply sit, you will not become IAS officer. So what is most important? Along with the qualification, hard work is much more important. Continuously for 1 year or 2 years, you should prepare well for the examination, and you have compete with the other candidates who are applying for the examination from all the states, right. Continuous hard working is required, deep study, deep knowledge of all the aspects, not only subject, and along with that general current affairs is also much more important, and your attitude, aptitude, your intelligence, everything is tested there, right. So if you want to become an IAS officer, then that big dream of becoming IAS officer, it will direct your behavior in preparing for examination or joining any coaching courses and dedicating time only for the preparation of a examination, right. Same way in organizations also, people join the companies and their behavior is directed by their motivation inside, okay. So it produces a goal directed behavior, and motivation can be positive or negative. It can be positive or it can be negative. So negative is also sometimes it motivates. One of my lecturer was telling, we can learn not only from what to do, but also we can learn from what not to do, right. In the present situation, we have in the newspapers or in medias, every day the news regarding drug addicts. Till today they were role models for us, right. But today the another face of their personality has come front, right. So from them what we can learn? We can learn what not to do. Better not to become negative role model, right. So therefore we can learn from negatives also. So motivation can be positive or negative. Positive motivation, motivating the employee for promotions, for getting higher salary, right. If he is doing work accordingly or according to the expectations of the management, then he will be given promotion, right. In marketing department, the salary will be decided on the basis of his performance. The number of products whatever he is selling, that decides his salary, right. Along with the salary, perquisites, commission or bonus, everything will be given. So therefore that commission motivates him to work hard. So motivation can be positive or negative. So negative how? If the employee is not working according to the expectations repeatedly, then he will be demoted, his financial benefits will be withdrawn, right, or he will be transferred to some other remote place where working becomes very difficult, right. So therefore motivation can be positive or it can be negative, and it is complex. As I said earlier, motivation is a complex process because individuals, they differ from one person to another person. We have our own expectations, we have our own drives, our own desires, our own dreams. My dreams do not match with the another employee, right? Therefore, understanding every member of the team becomes a complex, right? Therefore, it is considered as a complex process. Then why motivation is important? What is the role of motivation in molding the behavior of employees? So, motivation plays vital role in converting the talents of employee or employees into useful resources of the organization. Therefore, motivation is one of the best technique to convert human beings, just human being, physical appearance into the useful resources of the organization, because it helps to improve the performance level. Helps to improve performance level. How it helps to improve the performance level? Because manager, he continuously interacts with the employees and he will observe and he will identify the talents whatever hidden or inside, and an opportunity is provided for showing or exploiting the resources inside the human being or the employee. Therefore, because of motivation, it is possible to improve the performance level of the employee and he can start contribute maximum towards the organizational objectives. Then, changing negative attitude into positive attitude. It helps to change negative attitude into positive attitude. So, whenever we have negative attitude, then it demotivates. We will not try to find out what exactly is required. We will not try to find out what is inside us, what we are, where we want to go, right? We will not think seriously about our contribution to the company. We will be just going to the company, doing the regular work mechanically, and by 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock we will be vacating from the office. That's it. Go to the office, come back to the office. If the employee asks himself, what was your contribution today to the company, then the person will be not answerable, or he may not be justifiable, right. So, if every day should become a memorable day, right, every day should become a important day, then the employee has to contribute maximum, and not only his physical presence, but also mental presence is also much more important. He should consider that it is my company, it is my work, right. Just like we love our family members, we love our house, we love our car, how do we maintain? Same way we should think about our company also. Company is my company. If that feeling comes in the minds of the employee, then only he can convert his negative thoughts into positive. Therefore, negative thought towards anything, maybe towards the work, or maybe towards the manager, maybe towards the co-worker, or maybe towards the policies, or maybe towards the situation in the company, or maybe towards the organizational climate, whatever, okay. There are so many things to feel negative, there are so many things to feel positive, right. Therefore, there is one saying, one glass is filled with the half water, okay. Glass is filled half. We can look in two different angles. The person who thinks negatively, he says that half cup is empty. The person who thinks positively, he says that half glass is filled with water, right. So, therefore, we have to look at only with the positive aspects and we should forget about negative. Therefore, negative has to be converted into positive and that is possible only because of a motivation. And the next one is it helps to reduce employee turnover. Helps to reduce employee turnover. The feeling of loyalty should be built in the minds of the employees. What is loyal? Some customers are brand loyal. They purchase only one brand product, right. So, they are loyal customers and till the end they will not look at other products which are providing the same quality products, but they go for the same brand. Even in companies often it happens, generally people after joining within 6 months or 1 year they shift themselves to another company, they change their job. So, that changing often is called as turnover, job turnover. If job turnover is done, then that adversely affects even the employees as well as the company. What are the adverse effects to the company? At the entry stage, the employee needs training, development activities and afterwards he starts working. Once he has learnt every job, then his productivity improves after 1 year. If he will reach a stage where he becomes independent in working and he becomes perfect and he learns every aspect of the work, and at that stage if he shifts himself to the another company, then it will become loss to the company. Again one person has to be selected in his place and again he has to be given training, therefore it adversely affects the company. So, therefore, to improve the productivity, loyalty of the employees is also important. So, job turnover will be reduced with the help of motivation and employees will not think about shifting their job to another company. They will not search for a job in another company, but they will try to contribute maximum to the present company in which they are working. Okay. Then it helps to reduce absenteeism. What is absenteeism? Being absent to the workplace is known as absenteeism, right. You take number of leaves as you can, maybe medical leave or encashment leave or half pay leave or whatever, you take leave. Why you take leave? Because your other personal problems become much more important than your work. You do not find any interest in the job, what to do there, what work is there, nothing will happen if I do not go today. That kind of mentality if you have, then that will lead to absenteeism, right. So, this absenteeism will be reduced with the help of motivation. If he thinks that it is my company, I should work, if I remain absent for 1 day, then it will adversely affect the company's productivity. So, therefore, my presence is much more important. So, I should go. So, that feeling will reduce the absenteeism. So, that is one of the importance of motivation and introduce changes smoothly. To introduce changes smoothly, to introduce changes smoothly, there is necessity of motivation. As I said in the last class, change is the way of life, right. Without changes, there is no business, there is no life. Change is the way of life, right. So, therefore, whenever new aspects are introduced, maybe new technology, maybe new software, maybe new machineries, then or maybe the new economic system, then the employees should get adjusted to that, right. When the banks were amalgamated, SBI, the total 8 subsidiaries were amalgamated together and State Bank of India, only one bank was named, then employees reluctantly accepted, and they had the fear that some employees might lose their employment, right. So, whenever change is adopted, then the employees have a fear of losing job, fear of demotion, or fear of reduced salary, reduced financial benefits. So, therefore, it is the job of every manager to convince the employees that change is necessary, why we have to accept, what are the uses of accepting the change, and the employee, if he is convinced properly, then he will be motivated, and all the fear or negative thoughts whatever regarding the new changes will be eliminated, and he may feel comfortable even with the new changes also. Okay. So, that is why motivation is much more important, because it helps in improving the performance of the employees. Then motivation converts negative attitude into positive attitude, and it helps to reduce the employee turnover, it helps to reduce the absenteeism, and to introduce changes smoothly, motivation is required. Okay. In the next class, we will discuss about motivational theories and the different motivational techniques applied in the organization, may be financial or non-financial. Okay. Thank you.